Welcome to another edition of Mailbag. Remember, these are comments and questions that you guys leave on my channel that I do my humble best to try and answer, offer comment, or just throw out to the wider community for somebody out there to help you out. As with a number of recent mailbags, I'm doing one header and then the mailbags will follow. So if you sort of read the next mailbag and it looks the same as this, that's the reason why. But before we get going, we must address the normal parish notices, which are, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you like videos about this sort of stuff, this sort of stuff, and this sort of stuff, you need to hit the subscribe icon. Save time, hit the bell icon as well. You'll be notified when videos hit the channel. If you like the contents of this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And also, I highly encourage you to leave comments down below. I do read them. I respond to every single comment. And sometimes I even use those comments as subject of videos that I will film in the future. And finally, down there is the TMTG community. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, which I think is a real bargain, you can support the production of videos on the channel. Down there are also the Instagram and Facebook tags where other stuff related to the channel will appear. But now, back to the video. This next one comes from Sean Curran, and it's in response to, again, I don't have written down what this one is in response to, but he writes, "Hi John, interesting series. That machine looks more like a computer than a piece of audio rack equipment. Very interesting how far samplers have gone from the S6000. How do you use the unit in your workflow and setup? Knowing your channel, this is your AKAI sampler, so my assumption is playing your library of AKAI samples. Always enjoy a glimpse of how other musicians use their equipment. Cheers." This is obviously something I did on the AKAI sampler fairly recently. So I don't know why I haven't written down what the yeah, very interesting. I think I've copied and pasted the wrong thing into the wrong place. Anyway, basically, that's exactly what the S6000, S5000 are. They are a computer, and if you look inside the computer, look inside the sampler, and underneath the patching board with the output patches, the output audio sockets on it, there is an Intel i386 chip in there. And then you've got further chips that go into the machine, which I said with the expansions, they are the expansions, but it gives you the 64 and 128 voices. So that's how they actually do it. It's not a computer, not a conventional desktop configuration that we're all familiar with, but it is a computer nevertheless. The advantage of these units over, say, Windows machine is that the operating system has one task, and that is to support the function of the sampler and not 30 other functions. This is the problem when you've got, I mean, they're off shot at the moment, but I've got my Windows machine and my Mac just sitting here at the moment, just off shot. But that's the problem with these machines. Probably less so with the Mac than the Windows machine. But the way the operating system works is it does multitude of tasks, not just one task. The reason why I went to Mac was because the Mac does, it compartmentalizes the task better than the Windows machine, and therefore you have less issues with memory and CPU and running out of disk space and disk I/O. When some more normality arrives, I will get the sampler out and record some items to camera. But what I like about this and the 750, that's the Roland 750, is the fact that the control surface can be in a different place to the sampler. Now, the difference between the S6000 and the S5000, apart from, in essence, the S6000 and the S5000 are exactly the same unit, okay? The difference is that the S6000 comes loaded with more features as standard, and it also comes loaded with that detachable screen. The 5000 doesn't. But what I do like is that you can patch the inputs and outputs on a patch panel, and then through the and then through to a source that you're going to record. So it becomes really easy to use. than some of the other sort of style of samplers, because you have to be right in front of them. Then you can play the source, record it, edit it without having to move from the desk, and that really is one of the phenomenal pieces. With the with the Roland, of course, it comes by standard with an RGB output, so you can actually see what's going on in the sampler on a big screen as well. That really makes it easy. Once you complete the sampling, the editing, and the patching of what you're trying to do, then you can just assign it to an output on the sampler and then assign a MIDI channel. And again, as long as you've got the outputs correctly patched out of the patch panel, you can just play it. While I like other samples for many reasons, I have to be honest, I like the armchair nature of these two particular samplers. It really makes it interesting, and I'm not going to get into the debate about hardware samplers versus computer samplers versus workstation samplers, because they kind of do have a natural place within the studio. You've got to kind of think about what it is they're doing. Hardware samplers did one thing, and they did one thing well. And as the time went on, those hardware samplers got better and better and better. Now, the computer sampling and workstation sampling are designed for slightly different functions. And you may scream at me and say you don't agree, and that's your prerogative. But really, these samplers, definitely the high end and the latter hardware samplers, did one thing, and they did one thing extremely well. Okay, next one comes from Isham Solaris. Again, in response to the instant gratification plug and in the S2400 and Go, a video I did in March 2021. And Isham writes, I believe this type of instrument makes us focus on the sound and composition. No big screen, no thousands of functions, no VST integration. You know what? I think that is completely the point of this hardware, is the fact that it does make you focus on making beats on the fly, live work, where you want to create loops, drop in the beats to create bridges. As I've said, I've not got anything like this in the arsenal in the studio, so it's a completely new workflow for me. But it is proving to be quite fun actually. So it's just me, the S2400, and the groove.